And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Luke chapter 21, verse 25 and 26. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Ruach Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone on down who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect to the house of David. It's a brother Haran coming back at you with another lesson, low and to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and today is the 7th, all right, completion, the 7th of July, all right, 7/7/2026, and I'm recording this video as it stands right now at 1:44 a.m. and that's the spirit 144. All right, and through the spirit, we just had so-called July 4th. All right, and with that came a lot of catastrophe all around the world. Okay, and that's the spirit, because that's another sign and an indication of America's 250th year being the last or the end of this so-called great empire. America the Great, America Babylon the Great. Okay, there will be no greatness. There will be no living on forever. There will be no changing of the guard, so to speak. It's all going to be a downfall. And I've been saying it through the spirit that America is never, ever going to be winning any more wars until Yahushua comes back to destroy this place, man. That's all America seeing her power, okay, going out. Quite literally, just like what you see in Cuba right now. They said that the whole power grid has been shut down out there in Cuba. Similar things are about to happen here in America like never before. And the toll, the death toll you're going to see is going to be unprecedented. Okay, all the signs are pointing to that. There's all hell breaking loose everywhere around the world, but it's not being reported. Guess what? They can try all they want to hide all this information. But when the death becomes so overwhelming, the disasters become so overwhelming, people are going to wonder, what the fuck is going on? And the news is going to have no choice but to report on people's reactions to the effects of prophecy. Now, I have an article here that says the mainstream media freaks out as this, quote, super El Nino caused unprecedented heat, monster storms, and catastrophic damage all over the globe. Okay, and I just got done watching this video from Off-Grid Desert Farming with Paul and Adrian. He's now on Rumble. And he's showing how what was going on during the 4th of July all over the states. All right, you had, I believe they said every state passed at least 100 degrees of heat, all across the states, from West Coast to East Coast, the whole entire map. It was just hot, and that's true because it was hot. All right, it was hot. The weather was crazy. I remember Friday, it was hot as shit. All right, Saturday, I mean, I didn't really go out much, but I was, out there teaching, and my phone kept overheating. I'm like, yo, this is unusual. Like, I'm trying to get some, like, I put the phone where the shade is at, but still, it was overheating the whole time. I was like, what the fuck? It's not even that crazy, And then, of course, different states, shit, even different countries, people dying because of the heat. Okay, thousands. Not to mention there was a power outage out in Jersey area, and they saying that some people are going to be without power for at least 10 days, some 2 weeks. Okay, and it might be even longer than that. All right, so these are all part of the omens, the signs, the telltale signs of a dying empire, man. Okay, when all these things are happening and your country is not even talking about it, your president is not talking about it. He's worried about a damn parade, and the Lord destroyed all that. He took away the happiness and the spirit of Egypt. You can see it failing. It's over with. As it stands right now, in the halfway point of 2026, they said over 111 million Americans are without jobs right now as we speak. All right, that's 1/3 of the nation's population. Okay, 1/3 of it is without a job. It's about to get crazy. Anyway, it says global weather patterns have begun to resemble a Hollywood disaster movie, and the mainstream media is starting to admit that many of us have known all along, or admit what many of us have known all along. Thanks to the super El Nino that is now upon us, the second half of this year is going to be really crazy. Okay? We said that halfway point of this year is going to be wild through the spirit. And we're seeing all these things come into play. All right? It says Europe, right? Europe was just hit by the worst heat wave that it has ever experienced. So worse than back in, was it, I thought it was like 2023? Either 2022 or 2023, there was a heat wave, crazy ass heat wave up there in Europe and around the world. Okay, we did lessons on that. It was hot. But they saying this heat that just swung by was the worst on record, and it's going to get even worse because there's all side effects. Okay? When the earth is out of course, you have all kinds of different disasters that happens to bring it back into course. Okay? Not to mention all these GAY people, the Labiquita crew, they were going overboard with this shit this year too, man. All right, the biggest parade, all right, on the earth was done this year in the land around the Dead Sea area. It's all spiritual, man. The Dead Sea. Oh, you got all these sodomites in the dead. Come on, bro. It's like at this point, this devil is taunting the Lord. He's taunting him, man. And you know what's going to happen with that. It's so easy to see. It says Europe was just hit by the worst heat wave that it has ever experienced. Throughout all of last week, I was writing about a mega heat dome that brought unprecedented temperatures to many areas of the East Coast. As I write this article, an absolutely colossal storm is causing apocalyptic damage in the Pacific Ocean, and a severe lack of rainfall threatens to cause a horrifying shortage in rice in India. It is often the case that the mainstream media needlessly freaks out about things, but in this case, they are right on target. I wish that I was exaggerating about the power of this super El Nino, but I'm not. Every El Nino brings higher temperatures, but this one is really baking us. It says, we're officially in an El Nino year, and as predicted, it is a scorcher. Record temperatures are already being recorded around the world, from the streets of New York to the icy shelves of the Antarctic. Even the surface waters of the world's waterways are under unprecedented stress from the heat, with the average global ocean temperature breaking the all-time record high for the month of June. We are less than a month into this El Nino. How bad will conditions be once we get a few months down the road? It's gonna get crazy. Okay, it's about to get insane. The hurricanes, oh my goodness. It says even CNN is calling it a quote a super El Nino, end quote, and they are openly warning that computer models are predicting this El Nino could be stronger than any other event. Let's read. El Nino is poised to rapidly strengthen in the tropical Pacific Ocean during the next few months and is forecast to reach the upper echelon of intensity by the time it peaks in late fall to early winter, forecasters warn. It's already being referred to colloquially as a super El Nino. Only a handful of events have reached that level of intensity in the last few decades, with the most recent one occurring in 2015-2016. But now some computer models are predicting this El Nino could be stronger than any other event, back to at least 1950. 1950. Okay? Let me see something. 76 years ago. That's crazy. 76 years ago. Almost 80 years. Yo, the Most High, man. It says, at least back to at least 1950. Wow. I think it's fair to say that, depending on the model, the forecasts are close to unprecedented, said Michael Teppet. And he's an atmospheric scientist at Columbia University in an email. CNN is not supposed to run articles like this, but they did. One expert that CNN interviewed explained that the projections for the intensity of this El Nino have been getting higher each month. Quote, the consensus is definitely shifting toward an even stronger event, said Zeke Housefather. And the Housefather is spelled Haus and then father. A climate scientist who is closely following El Nino model projections. The model runs have been consistently showing higher probabilities for a very strong event compared to a few months ago, and every month sees higher estimates, he said. Currently, the odds of seeing a record strong El Nino event this year are quite large. It says it has become clear that this El Nino is going to dwarf any El Nino that has come before. Man, that sounds crazy. It is even going to surpass the Super El Nino of 1877 and 1878, or 1877 to 1878, that resulted in 50 million people starving to death. They said this is going to surpass that. It's going to surpass that. India always receives less rain during an El Nino, and rainfall in many key rice producing areas is already way below normal. That's all biblical prophecy. Okay? That is all biblical prophecy. Let's get that real quick in the book of Joel, chapter 1. And start from verse 10. It says, the field is wasted, the land mourneth, for the corn is wasted, the new wine is dried up, the oil languisheth. Be ye ashamed, Joel chapter 1, continue verse 11. Be ye ashamed, O ye husbandmen, howl, O ye vine dressers, for the wheat and for the barley, because the harvest of the field is perished. The vine is dried up, and the fig tree languisheth, the pomegranate tree, the palm tree also, and the apple tree, even all the trees of the field are withered, because joy is withered away from the sons of men. All right, and that's all going into what? Prophecy, man. We're seeing these things happening right now. Okay? We're seeing these things happening right now. India always receives less rain during an El Nino, and rainfall in many key rice-producing areas is already well below normal. And it's not just rice. And if it's not just rice, right? But India produces majority of the rice around for the globe, around the world. And if they're having problems, this is going to result in famines, just like our Lord said was going to happen as a sign of the end times. Okay? He said these are the beginning of sorrows. We're seeing, we just had magnitude 7.2, magnitude 7.5 earthquakes back to back in one country alone. What was that, last week or the week before? In Venezuela? Right? Just an example. You had 4th of July. You had I think it was Coney Island. Yeah, Coney Island. They had this crazy ass desert storm type. You know what I'm saying? On the beach. People were saying, oh, it's a tornado. It wasn't no tornado. It was just the wind picked up like crazy, blowing everything out of everyone. I was like, damn. Okay. We just read about Luke 21, the seas roaring. All right, the seas roaring. You have all kinds of different waves, heavy ass waves. Okay, because the ocean is getting heated. All right. They said there was a video that came out of the Brooklyn Bridge that was on fire. It got caught on fire because of the fireworks and all that was happening. Okay. The 250th parade that was supposed to happen in D.C., that shit it was just a debacle. They said Trump was pissed because it didn't turn out how he wished it would turn out. I'm like, you fools, man. We keep telling you, all this mocking of the Heavenly Father that y'all niggas keep doing. Do you understand? The way he's about to just destroy this place is going to be taken out. And these are all part of the signs. This is an omen. For Americans, for those who don't believe in the Bible and you don't believe in the prophets of the Lord and all these different things, you might want to be prepared for what's coming in the next half of the year into 2027. You understand? We're about to enter into unprecedented times. And guess what? Your American government doesn't give a damn about you. They are part of the reason why these things are happening. Get ready. They're about to bring in the no-hide laws. Okay? They're about to start slaughtering you American people. When the IDF or the military, the Israeli military is being merged with the American military, you got treason right there, man. But these devils have the nerve to tell us, if you don't believe in America, if you don't believe in what we're doing, then you're committing treason. Are you kidding me? Yo, man, all hell's about to break loose in this fucking country, bruh. And around the world. But America's going to feel the worst. You got this whole World Cup situation thing going on. People going to extend their vacations. A lot of people that came from Europe, they seen their state of the country right now. They don't want to go back right away. Right? There's a heat wave. It's killing thousands of people. In one country alone, I think it was Netherlands or something. They said over 2,000 people died off of just the heat alone. There was another place, they said, was it France? They said that all the chickens that was in there because of the heat, they all got wiped out. Okay? So your food is being affected by this heat. Okay? There was hail that happened in I forget what state it was. It was mad shit was happening July 4th, man. Oh, and the apostles, when they went out teaching, their live stream went up to 2 hours and 50 minutes. That's 250. On the day of 250? Come on, bro. Come on. If you're paying attention. All right. So it says here, the warning comes during India's Kharif planting season, when crops such as rice and maize, which is corn, depend heavily on the southwest monsoon. El Nino can weaken the summer monsoon across much of India, putting rain-fed crops under stress during a critical growing period, the FAO said. Between June 1st and 22nd, half of India had received deficient rainfall, which is below 20% to below 59% below the expected normal, while nearly a quarter had recorded large deficient rainfall, 60 to 99% less than expected normal. That's crazy. According to categories used by the India Meteorological Department, okay, the FAO an analysis based on 41 years. 41. All right. 1 year over 40. We know what the year. We know what the number 40 represents. Okay. 41 years of satellite data from its agricultural stress index system. Okay. ASIS, right? Agricultural stress index system identifies a broad belt. All right, belt of elevated drought risk across Asia, from Pakistan and India through Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, and further east to the Philippines, Indonesia, and Timor-Leste. Gonna leave that one out. All right, but again, you're seeing it. Okay, you're seeing it. All right, the Lord is bringing that judgment. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is bringing that judgment. It's going to be worse. Okay? Let's jump down Joel chapter 1 verse 18. It says, how do the beasts groan? The herds of cattle are perplexed. The same word perplexed, perplexity. In Luke 21. Because they have no pasture. Yea, the flocks of sheep are made desolate. O Lord Yahweh, to thee will I cry. For the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness. Right? Wildfires all over the place. And the flame hath burned all the trees of the field. They're saying the heat wave is causing fires all over the place. It's killing people, killing animals. The beasts of the field cry also unto thee, for the rivers of waters are dried up. And the fire, right? And the fire had devoured the pastures of the wilderness, man. Okay? So continuing, it says, the world is not going to grow enough rice this year. That's going to be a famine right there on your hands right there. In fact, the amount of rice grown won't even be close enough to feed everyone. That is very troubling news because more than half of the population of the world is heavily dependent on rice. See? Over half of the world's population relies on rice. India and China grow more than half of the world's supply, and rice supplies more than half um, of daily calories in countries such as Bangladesh, Vietnam, and Cambodia. And remember, you already have this problem with the Straits of Hormuz. So there's a lot of goods and services that can't even go through on your normal route. Okay? Shipping containers and all that go through that area, they can't even do that. All right? At least there's limited traffic, which means that even if things were to be going normal with just the limited traffic alone, it'll be a hindrance to the world's economy. A hindrance. How much more of all these things combined at the same time for this long? It's going to have side effects that has never been seen upon the face of the earth before, because we live in a very fragile system, and everything is so interconnected. If you have one crisis in one sector, it affects every other sector. That's how you have a poly crisis. One thing can affect everything else, like a domino effect. You see? And that's what you're about to see right now. Look, people could, turn a blind eye and focus on the World Cup and sports and all that. But guess what? The World Cup is going to be over. We're in July. I think it's over next week or some shit, or this week. All right. The last game is going to be, let me check. Let me double check that. World Cup final. It's going to be when is that? Oh, July 19th. Okay. July 19th. Let me see. Yep. Yeah, July 19th, which is what? What's today? Today's the 7th. So literally a week, about 2 weeks. All right. About less than 2 weeks is going to be a wrap. So right towards the third week of July. So towards the end of the month of July. And then what's going to happen next after that? Okay. So the Lord is about to take away all the distractions right when this thing picks up even crazier. Okay. It says, poorer households spend the largest share of income on food. So price spikes hit them first and hardest. America is about to feel it so badly, because you got so many people who are out of jobs and inflation and all this. Don't let this whole Trump shit, telling you that, oh, gas prices have gone down and all this. Don't get excited, bro. Be alarmed. These things are unusual. Be alarmed. Over there in Russia right now, you might not, oh, Russia, they got everything secure. Russia is good. They're suffering fuel shortages right now, where they said a mother had to be in line or some shit to get fuel for over, how many hours was it? Some ridiculous amount. Let me see if I can find that article right here. Russia's fuel crisis is so bad that a mom and her baby waited in line for 18 hours to get gas. 18 hours, bro. Are you kidding me? 18 hours? Russia is confronting a widespread fuel crisis. That's going to be coming here to America, because it's starting in the east. The farthest country in the east, and it's coming all the way here to the west. With motorists enduring marathon lines at gas stations as supplies dwindle across the country. You're going to see that effect here in America very soon, the next coming weeks. The shortages have sparked scenes reminiscent of shortages from the Soviet era. The things that's going on right now is being compared to shit that was happening to America back in the 1877. We've never seen some shit like this. This El Nino thing, it wiped out 50 million people back in 1800s. Oh, I mean, we have the technology to be able to fight against these things, right? I mean, 1800, we're in 2026 now. I mean, things have changed, right? This is the worst it's going to be. Okay? And Russians, you like to think they're better prepared for a lot more of the shit that's going on. Way more better prepared than America. And look what they're going through. A mother with her baby. 18 hours to get gas. The shortages have sparked scenes reminiscent of shortages from the Soviet era, affecting daily life far from the front lines of the conflict in Ukraine. According to a report from Fortune, Ukraine's sustained drone strikes on Russian oil infrastructure have crippled refining operations, taking an estimated 25% or more of the country's capacity offline. These attacks have brought the realities of the war home to ordinary Russians, triggering long queues, rationing measures, and growing frustration. Okay? So, hey, hey, damn. Look at this. Large volumes of fuel won't be for sale in the immediate future. Okay? Look at that. Critical infrastructure is being damaged. They call it unprecedented. Unprecedented. And this is all going to lead to what? Look at this. Somebody said, damn. Oh, shit. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Right? During the wait, Sandovnikova used the station's bathroom and purchased snacks, while fellow drivers shared food and toys with her child. She first encountered the restrictions in mid-June, right? Mid-June, that was less than a month ago, when a station limited sales to those with ration coupons. Quote, I was horrified. Are we in the Soviet Union now where you had to get coupons to buy sausage? The 26-year-old social media worker told New York Times. Damn, she young too, 26. Okay? And these people were joining lines, queued. They were in line. She was exhausted for 18 hours with her husband and her 18-month-old baby. They joined the queue at 11 p.m. on Friday and did not receive gas until 5 p.m. the following day. Imagine that shit. Imagine that shit. This is the Siberian city of Irkutsk, located roughly 3,000 miles from Ukraine. Lines at fuel stations have stretched so far that local authorities promised to install portable toilets for those waiting. At least they're doing that. America, they're not going to be doing that. Trust me, they don't care about you people. All right? They're going to take advantage of a situation like this to put more stress on the people when it hits America. You're going to see water shortages, droughts like never before. It's about to get disgusting out here. The data centers to be involved in that as well. Okay? You're going to see riots. Hey. Going back to the article, it says, poorer households spend the largest share of income on food, so price spikes hit them first and hardest. In the 0708, rice prices roughly tripled. Food riots broke out. Oh, food riots, man. And these uncouth Americans, these people with animalistic behavior, they act like caged animals on drugs, right? They can't wait to be broken loose out the prison. Niggas and niggards. When I say niggas, I'm talking about you black dumb demons out there. And you niggards, I'm talking about you Edomites, you red pink skin devils out there that do all kinds of debauched shit. It's all coming out. Everyone's gonna suffer, man. All right? America's culture has pushed nothing but wickedness, has pushed nothing but debauched behavior, has pushed nothing but rebellion, wickedness, evil. All right? Pleasures of doing things that's outside of what is called the norm. Okay? And you're filled with pride. And the Lord is about to break all that. He's about to destroy all that. And nobody's going to feel bad for Americans. Not even your allies. All right? Because of your stupid ass president. Your dumb ass president that has no idea what the hell is going on. Nero 47 coming back. Doing all kinds of dumb ass shit. Okay? And he is that cruel Lord. Going back to Isaiah 19, the Lord is giving Americans into the hand of a cruel Lord. All the things that it's a stage is being set up for the downfall of America and Americans. It's over with. Okay? So you have food riots broke out in dozens of countries, and in Haiti, the unrest helped bring down the prime minister. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Okay? You have energy crisis, you have food shortages, which is going to in turn bring in all kinds of different riots because the people are going to lose trust in their governments. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. It's all biblical prophecy. Okay? Securing rice is more than food. It underpins public order. During this super El Nino, some parts of the planet will experience drought, while others will get hammered by absolutely gigantic storms. Okay? Just hours ago, a monstrous super typhoon with frighteningly high winds absolutely pummeled the island of Rota. Okay? 150 mile per hour winds. Some of them, some places hit 180 miles per hour. Okay? And it's affected people in about what, 210 people? 210,000. My fault now. 210,000. Nearly every structure in Rota has been flattened. According to National Weather Service, the island will be in an uninhabitable for weeks. All right, this is all weather modification. All right, we talked about that in the last video about the modern day version or modern warfare, modern day version of eminent domain. Okay, they just wipe people off the land and you can't go back and take that place back. Oh, I'm going to come back to my old place and build. No. All right, you're going to be, what they call it? Relocated. That's the word. All right. Once the disaster hits, you get relocated. That's the eminent domain right there. You don't get back to, getting back to your own land and no. I'm gonna rebuild it. No. You get relocated. All right. It says It says before the NWS had said, which is the National Weather Service, had said that a direct hit on Rota would make most of the island uninhabitable for weeks, perhaps longer. Many non-concrete, non-reinforced homes will be destroyed with total roof failure and wall collapse. And you look at America's motto nowadays with the building, they're not even building shit with bricks anymore. It's all paper. That's what it feels like. You know what I'm saying? It's just wood. You see some of these new builds in its structure, it's all just wood. I'm like, what happened to the concrete buildings, bro? They don't build like that anymore. All right, they don't build like that anymore. The whole structure is literally just planks of wood being put together in a house structure, and then they cover it with sheetrock, and that's it. Like that ain't no concrete, ain't no bricks. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? And then you selling these homes for $400,000, $500,000, $700,000 just because it looks nice. But is it really good though? Looking good and being good are two different things. We live in America. Don't forget that everything is about deception. It's about money making. It's about being defrauded, being corrupted. All right? It says nearly all trees will be snapped or uprooted and power poles downed. Fallen trees and power poles will isolate residential areas. Power outages will last for weeks to possibly months, it said. See? Men's hearts failing them for the things that's going to be happening or coming up on the earth, man. How would you like to be without power for months? Oh, shit, it's about to get crazy. It says more giant storms are coming as 2026 rolls along. You can count on that. In other words, you could bank on it. Meanwhile, the weather has been so hot and so dry in Europe that it has produced ideal conditions for huge wildfires to erupt. Thousands of people were evacuated in southern France on Monday as catastrophic wildfires ravaged the region, while poisonous clouds swept through Greece and Costa Brava in Spain was put on alert. It comes as temperatures across Europe are on the rise again, predicted to reach 40 degrees Celsius, in part still suffering the aftermath of a recent record-breaking heat wave. Hundreds of firefighters are battling blazes that have devastated more than 19,000 hectares, which is 42,000 acres of land, an area more than twice the size of Manhattan across Portugal, Spain, France, and Greece. Okay? And this is no ordinary heat wave. All right, you have people complain like, oh, we know that it's hot, but like, yo, the floor, the asphalt was melting. People walking on the ground on the streets, and their shoes is melting. I mean, they wearing all these what's that plastic thing? The rubber thing that people be wearing, that nasty shit. Is it Crocs or something like that? Right? Whatever that is, right? It's like you. I'm gonna keep my comments to myself. It says, week after week, Europe is getting absolutely cooked, and a lot of people are dying. For example, just check out what has been happening in the Netherlands. Oh, that's the one I was talking about. All right, it says more than 3,500 people. All right, 3,500 people died in the Netherlands during last week's extreme heat, according to provisional mortality figures from the National Institute for Public Health and Environment and the Environment. Slakia. The number is about 16% higher than what was expected based on seasonal trends. Damn. Okay. Yo, that's crazy. So, wow. The RIVM, which is the what do they call it? The National Institute for Public Health and Environment. I don't know why it's abbreviated like that, but anyway, they said that there were around 480 excess deaths compared with expected levels, with most fatalities among people aged 80 and older. Oh, proportionally, and those are the ones that they want to eliminate anyway, right? They're old enough, and they're pretty much the last ones that are still connected to some form of old way of living. You know what I'm saying? They don't want them passing that knowledge over. Nah, they're trying to build this whole scientific new world order shit. They want to eliminate all the older people that were connected to the old world anyway. All right? So that's why you have Elon Musk popping up on the stage talking about anyone who doesn't like America and doesn't believe in America's ideals is basically a treason or a committed treason. You're treasonous and you ought to be, exiled. Right? What does that mean? That's basically attacking ideologies. Attacking anyone who doesn't go along with the stupid ass dogma that they're about to start pushing around the world. Okay? So it says here, proportionally, the highest impact was seen in the east and south of the Netherlands, where temperatures were highest during the heat period. The RIVM noted that the figures are not yet complete, as it can take several weeks for deaths to be officially registered. So we're looking at in the millions, if anything, right? More than 3,500 people died. That's it. It's going to be way more. By the end of this year, you're going to see people in the billions going to be wiped out. All right? As you got all these, don't forget, we still on schedule for all the people that took the jump shot. They said over 5 billion people took it, or 6 billion, some shit like that took it. Okay? 6.6 billion, I think that was the number. I said, yeah, of course. When they took it, they finna start seeing the side effects of what they did. Some of them suffered sudden death, right? That was a thing a couple of years ago, all right? And a lot of people suffered all kinds of different health issues, including so-called cancer. A lot of people are you're going to see tumor this and tumor that. Cancer is this and cancer is that. Mad young. You be, yo, how the fuck you get cancer? Are you 25? How the hell you got tumor? Are you 20? How the hell you got this and you 30? Like, these are unusual, man. Like, at your age, you shouldn't be getting this. Oh, yeah, but it runs in my family. You know, the rest of my family. Nigga, you dummy. Oh, the doctors can't tell what is going on. They've been doing diagnosis and tests. You're going to be doing all kinds of tests from daybreak to day end. From sunrise to sunset for weeks and months. And you're going to be getting the same result. You're going to be turned to a test dummy. Take this medication, do this, come under here. Let's do this, let's run this test on you. Let's do a surgery on this. Let's cut your heart open. Let's take your organs out. Let's do this. Still no solution. And they'll never tell you what the real reason is. Well, you took the jump shot, right? Okay, well, this is a side effect of it. Okay? Blood clots. All right? Yeah, man. Get ready. These companies are not getting ready. What's his name? Larry Ellison doesn't care. He doesn't care about investing in cancer drugs and all this extra shit if they didn't know what was coming. All right, they set everything up, okay, so they can make money at the back end, in the front end and the back end. Okay, as of course people have been dying from the heat in the US as well. At this point, we're being told that at least 25 residents of New Jersey have died as a result of heat exposure just since Thursday, so less than a week ago. Okay, and I believe the numbers are definitely more than that. All right. After experiencing, because the only reason why I say this is because we saw how they fudged the numbers during the CV shit. The numbers are always played with whenever it fits their narrative. If they want the cases to be outrageous, then they hit you with cases, COVID cases, right? But if they don't want it to be out there like that, like the VAERS system that showed, people, the amount of people that got affected by the jump shot, they don't report that those numbers are always skewed, right? So the numbers always work in their favor, or at least they try to use it to work in their favor. Okay, going back into the enchantments. All right, it says here, it says at least 25 people died in Jersey since Thursday amid a sweltering heat wave. Temperatures soared into the triple digits over the 4th of July holiday weekend in Jersey, New York, D.C., and East Coast states. Power outages in Jersey and New York reportedly affected 1 million customers. That's going to be a lot more. Okay, it's going to be a lot more. And don't forget, the city mayor, Mamdani, he's about to, yo man, it's about to get crazy. It's about to get crazy. If you know New York, you know it's about to get nasty out here. Trust me. They set the stage for chaos. This motherfucker said they're going to give free groceries. Free groceries? You expect grocery stores to stay open with that kind of policy? You got your mind. Do you own those grocery stores? Do you own the food that comes into these grocery stores? Last time I checked, Mamdani, you don't own none of that. So to be given whole ass folk promises, meaning fake promises, pseudo promises to the people telling them, oh, we're going to give you free groceries, we're going to give you free rent, all this extra. Oh, bro, what? What? It says, according to officials, many of the deceased were found in their homes with no air conditioning, and they're going to be all wiped out. Mad people going to be wiped out. No AC, right? There's a heat wave, and there's no air conditioning. Bruh, they closed some of the beaches. They said it was so hot, the beaches was closed. Bruh. Yo, the Lord's bringing that calamity, man. It's beautiful. It's going to get worse. It's about to get worse. We're only in July, bro. We're having heat waves like this in July. What about August? No, the dog days of summer. August. Yeah, man. Anyone who's played sports in the summertime, you know the summertime, the heat be on some shit, bro. Like late July to early August, I mean to mid-August, sometimes even the end of August. It be disgustingly hot. All right? So, hey, man, get ready. Get ready. All right? It says, after experiencing an extremely hot weekend, now the East Coast is facing the threat of severe flash flooding. A life-threatening flash flood threat is increasing for nearly 60 million people across the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and Southern New England, with more rounds of heavy rain expected to soak the region through Monday night. And they say it's going to rain all week. I looked at the weather forecast. It's supposed to rain all week. It's raining right now as we speak. Not heavy, but it's raining. Okay? Heavy rain and thunderstorms from this weekend saturated the soil across the region, creating prime conditions for flash flooding Monday, particularly in New York City metro area. All over the world, this Super El Nino is going to produce monster storms, extreme heat, and severe drought in 2026. We were already experiencing a worldwide food crisis before this Super El Nino came along. And so there is no way that we are going to avoid very serious global food shortages. It's over. Okay? In fact, the number of people on our planet that are experiencing acute hunger was already at an all-time record high before the war with Iran started. It's a time like never before, man. What we are facing is not a theoretical disaster that may or may not happen someday. It is happening right now. It says, we are in far more trouble than most people realize, and we are going to witness so much chaos in the months ahead. I love reading that part right here. Let me read that slow again. One more time. One more time. See, when they start admitting it, that's what makes it even sweeter. We are in far more trouble than most people realize, and we are going to witness so much chaos in the months ahead. All right? And that's all, once again, biblical prophecy. Okay? It's all a connection of what has been said aforetime that's going to happen in this time. And once it starts playing out, are people going to be able to put the pieces together and pinpoint these things as, oh shit, this is all talking about the times of the last days, man. Okay? The things that's happening has always been associated with the last days. All right? You got extreme heat. violent storms, droughts, right? Crop failures, global distress, global tensions, the potential of war breaking out at any point, at any day, at any time is just up in the air on a daily basis. The economy going down. See? Now you got this whole super El Nino. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. All right? Let's get this real quick. There's a book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 7. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." Okay? So the Lord was warning about food shortages. That's the famines part. You just read the article that goes into that. The rice shortages and all that. All right? And it's going to be caused by what? Drought. Okay? The drought that's affecting the rice production. All right? And then you're going into what? The heat. All right? Let's get that in the book of Revelation, the 16th chapter. All right? It goes into the heat. The Lord is going to punish the men, scorch them with fire. All right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 16. And verse 8, it says, "And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire." Okay? And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of the Most High, which hath power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. All right? And that's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to see. It says, "And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast." All right? NATO and the EU. "And his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues with pain." Okay? And that's going into what the anguish that these people are about to feel. Okay? The stress that these people are about to feel. The extreme heat. All right? Which is all going into what? That it's all prophetic. Okay? It's all prophetic. Okay? It's all prophetic. And we read about more of the droughts that's going to be happening to the crops, to the animals and all that in Joel. Okay? The distress, the everything, man. Everything. All right? But ultimately, all right, let's get this and we're going to close it out. Ultimately, the Heavenly Father has set all these things up for a purpose. All right? The stress must come before the relief. The stress must come before the elect get delivered from that stress. Okay? There's a book of Romans, chapter 8, and verse 22. It says, "For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. All right? And that pain is what the whole world is going through right now. Okay? The whole earth is travailing. All right? Like a woman that travaileth, that's what's going on. All across the board. Everywhere you go, everywhere you turn, there's some shit going on. All right? Various states catching strays left and right. Okay? Verse 23. "And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even ourselves grown within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body." Ultimately, that happens through Yahushua when he comes back to deliver the elect. Okay? "For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for?" Okay? So our hope is in salvation. Our hope is in immortality. Our hope is in deliverance. Okay? And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to come through for us. All right? We stay faithful. We stay loyal. And he's going to see us through all these disasters that's about to hit. All the birth pains that's about to hit. And these are all things that happens right before the return of our Lord. Okay? Going back to Matthew 24. All right? We're going to finish off with this right here. Matthew 24 and verse 29, it says, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days," right? We are in the times of those tribulation, all right, the beginning of sorrows. Okay? "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken." Okay? "And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." Okay? "And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other." And what the Christians call the so-called rapture. All right. But guess what? That doesn't happen prior to the destruction of this place. As in what you're seeing now, the calamities that you're seeing now, the rapture, so-called rapture, doesn't happen. You don't get to escape Jacob's trouble. You don't get to escape the tribulation. You go through it, right? And what makes you of the elect, what means to be saved and delivered, is when the Lord comes back to deliver us from the nuclear destruction. That's the tail end part of the tribulation. Okay, the nuclear destruction caps off the time of the Great Tribulation. So America's destruction is the end of that tribulation. All right. So Yahushua is the one who makes that intercession, that divine intervention, all right, on behalf of the elect. Okay. And then at the end of that tribulation, right before the missiles hit, that's when Yahushua comes and delivers the elect. Okay. The sixth trouble into the seventh. All right. So anyway, I'm ended off there, Lord willing, you were edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Ruach HaKodesh, the water Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, and until next time, Shalom.